How can you make your time in the dojo more productive? Here are 5 tips to help you get more out of each of your training sessions. So number 1, be intentional with your training. So when you're going through the motions of your Kion or your fundamental techniques, be aware of what you're doing. You know, have an aspect you're trying to improve within the technique and consciously make an effort to change it. So rather than just going through the motions and kind of just getting through it, we want to be thinking about how can I improve the previous repetition on the next one? And then once you've completed that repetition, the next one, how can I change something on that one? You know, so in a set of 10 repetitions, we should be gradually improving. The 10th one should almost have had many corrections on the way. You know, your first couple of reps, you're sort of feeling the technique, and as you go through, you're feeling different things, and you're making micro adjustments to your technique. This is why we do higher rep training, in order to catch these things. You know, if you do only 3 or 4 reps each time, you've not got time to build that up and get the feeling of the technique that we need to get. Come into the dojo and have a plan. You know, whatever the session may be, you might be doing something, the sensei asks you to do something, an exercise, but in your mind, you're still also conscious of the things you need to do for your own development. So for example, I'm doing sets of Mae-geri, so I'm throwing one kick, and I think, okay, maybe my foot position was a little bit off there. So second one, I correct it as I go. Next one, and I'm thinking, each time I throw those repetitions, I'm making adjustments, maybe more hikiashi, more pullback of the kick, this way. Number 2, take notes. So you get feedback in your session. At the end of your session, take some notes. You know, maybe whether you write onto your phone or you've got a notepad or something, take some notes and actually write down the things that you've thought about or you've been told. You know, little corrections or feelings you had in certain things. You may come up with an idea yourself. You know, you're throwing some kicks like I was just talking about in the previous one, and you're thinking, okay, I must make sure I'm pulling that foot back after the kick a little bit more so. So we write a note about it, and then it's there. You know, we don't forget about it, because obviously there's a lot of feedback that comes in sessions, you know, from one week to the next, and in a month's time you want to look back and see, have I addressed that, or have I forgotten about it? It's hard to remember all those things. You could do one session and get 15 bits of feedback maybe, or a few concepts demonstrated or explained in the class that you need to kind of explore a little bit further. And keeping a note of it helps you to firstly to remind yourself, but secondly to understand it. If you're rewriting it in your own kind of words or through your own understanding, it helps to process it a little bit better after the session, and therefore possibly stick in your mind a bit better. The third point is to use your time before class or after class, if you can, to be productive. You know, a lot of time people turn up to the dojo 10 minutes early or so, and they're just kind of hanging about. You know, use that time to either stretch or warm up or work on something that you may be focusing on at that moment. Those times add up. You know, if you spend 5 minutes every time you're in the dojo working on something, over the year that makes a lot of time. You know, you're rapidly increasing your time of practice by just adding those 5-10 minutes on before session time, if it's possible. You know, not everyone is able to do that, but if you are able to attend a class slightly early and you have the space, make use of it. Don't waste the time. The fourth point is to ask questions. You know, it's kind of quite old-fashioned in the dojo to sort of just say os, basically. You know, just say yes, and blindly follow orders. It's important to question what you're doing all the time. As an instructor myself, I have to question what I'm doing, and is what I'm doing good enough, or is what I'm doing justifiable? Can I explain why I'm doing something? And it's healthy to question. If questions are kind of not allowed, then maybe that's a bit of a red flag. You know, it's important to make sure that you are getting what you need out of your sessions. You know, you attend the dojo, you pay your fees, get what you need to get out of the session. If you have to ask questions after the class or in the class, make sure you do it, because you know, you may understand something slightly differently and it's going to send you on the wrong path. If you can clarify it by getting that question answered, then it's going to correct things earlier and avoid bigger mistakes down the line. The final point is to make sure you're at the dojo frequently, you know, consistently, because otherwise you're always playing catch up. If you're sporadically attending a dojo, you know, go one time and then 3 weeks off and then another time, those times in the dojo are kind of catching up with things you may have missed, or getting yourself back into the form of things. You know, so consistency will improve your time in the dojo, because you'll come in and you'll be ready to learn and ready to develop and ready to improve, rather than taking a step forwards and lots of steps back. You know, so point number 5 is be more consistent in your attendance at the dojo. Hopefully those points give you some things to think about, and hopefully they can help to improve your time in the dojo. Take a look at my last videos that I put on. I put a few different tutorials on and things about weight training, some kicking exercises and some katas as well. So if you enjoy the videos, please like, subscribe and share them with your friends.